You was good, bruh. Oh shoot. All right, this is what I'm not here for. Jeremiah Scott is crazy. I didn't even see this until just now. Yo, Jeremiah. All right. Yo, this is crazy, right? This is wild, and I don't even want to get into this. This is crazy, but like, bro, like, the state of the NBA is cooked. Only Low can save it, and Mars. Oh my goodness. Much love to those guys. Much respect. I'm not going to be like, no, they're not brilliant in their own right, right? But like, even they have their own flaws. I mean, I think everybody in general has their own flaws, especially when it comes to talking about the NBA and talking about basketball, and really dissecting everything. Um, I think there's really in a lot of the conversations that's had today, there's never really a great balance between the two. You know, if I'm going to really be honest. You have some people who's too narrative and then media driven, like Stephen A. Smith, really just for the headlines. And I really don't think he'd really be watching the games like that, if I'm just going to be honest with you. Um, and then I guess you can go with the Low and Mars side, where it's very analytical, but they do watch the games. You can't say that they don't. But then there's not really an I mean, we got to be honest. It's not really a full grasp or like a full understanding of everything, mainly because of one, because Mars is overseas, so like the inability to really play at that level, or just not playing it by choice, in general, right? I think there needs to be a balance between the two. Of okay, me personally, I truly believe this. There needs to be a balance of the two between like knowing how to balance out the entertainment side of things, knowing how to talk about it also on the player side of things, but then also trying to be as objective of looking at it through the other lens that really is not a part of that field. And each side, if I'm going to be honest, like each side, there is an inherent flaw, right? So on the player side, you go too far deep into just the player aspect. And, I mean, you understand, like there's a bunch of players right now, right? That they know the talent's there, they know the skill is there. They can't really like execute it though, for various different reasons. You can talk about politics and everything, or maybe the game speed, or sometimes just being in the crowds just hurts a lot of people, but they're supremely talented, right? Players a lot of times just focus on the talent aspect of it and who a player is, rather than also focusing on the execution of everything. And then, Stephen A. Smith, you got Stephen A. Smith where he's over here. And then first take guys, they're just more on just the buzzwords, blasphemy, whatever they can say to try to get everyone's engine going. They more focus on that. Now, Lone Mars, I guess Lone Mars, you can say, I guess they're in their own little media circle there. Um, they try to have a balance. I'll be honest. I think they have a pretty decent balance. It's just there's just something absent there at times. I haven't talked to them too often actually for a while, so maybe things have changed. But from the last time I really talked with them, there's still an absence of like, even me. Like there's still an absence of understanding when it comes to the game. Like I said, if we're going to talk about the holes and the play, like the passing gaps and the passing holes that players can really take advantage of to get better, like they can't really like expound upon that, mainly because like being in that scenario and being that ball handler and seeing that from that point of view, like majority of people haven't seen that and haven't been in that type of position. So it's kind of hard to kind of hear someone else's take or even advice on that when they themselves, it's a lot that goes into it rather than just bodies on the court, rather than, okay, there's an opening there that we see from the camera view, but from that point of view of the ball handler, you don't know what they're seeing, you know? So there's things that I'm sorry, I had to address that immediately. I didn't even mean to get into that. But I had to address that immediately because that's just crazy to me. What's up, Jalen? What's up, Daniel? What's up, Jeremiah? That was just wild to me. I didn't even want to get into that actually. But I just want to talk about the NBA media in general. Really even like the player media that's even evolving now, where Like guys like Draymond is kind of scaring me a bit. Because you can see it's a weird shift with Draymond Green, where he's shifting more towards like the Charles Barkley. Like it's crazy actually. Like he's like shifting and turning into Charles Barkley a little bit. Charles Barkley has his flaws when his takes, but I'm not gonna lie. Charles Barkley's must-see TV. I'm not gonna hold you. And you know what? That's where the NBA media here today is like really cooked, right? That's where the NBA media and then even the NBA viewership is just like hurting, because they're producing these shows, they're producing these, first take shows and all of these like stuff that it's not really entertaining. I'm gonna like I say this all the time when it comes to the NBA. The most important thing when it comes to this business is the entertainment aspect. But even in the media, it's important. But guys like Stephen A, I guess they got so used to defaming players and bringing them down where it's like, it's not even that entertaining anymore because now you're just predictable and you really just look like a jerk. So that's where you see like guys like Gilbert Arenas is doing phenomenal. Gil's Arena is doing phenomenal. A lot of these players, Jeff Teague and his podcast is doing great, right? Because they're funny. They're funny. They're entertaining. They enjoyed the time together. They have a good time. And I think that's really, honestly, if I'm being completely honest with how I view everything, that's really what's missing in the media. Even Charles Barkley, I was just talking like with Charles Barkley, Shaq, Ernie, and those guys. I'm not gonna listen. I'm not watching that. I'm not really watching that to learn. It's funny. They're entertaining. They bring views, and that's a part of the sport. That is a large part of the sport, the entertainment side of things. And when you're just saying things just for views, I mean, people kind of pick up on that. If I'm going to be honest, people pick up on that. They pick up on it. They pick up on the annex. They're pretty smart, especially now. They pick up on the annex. They understand what you're doing, and it's a turn off. So no one really likes that anymore, like they used to like it back then. Like no one likes that anymore. They probably liked that in LeBron's time, maybe because everyone just hated LeBron. They didn't like him. But they're kind of dead to that now. So you have to adjust. And the media always has to adjust. Any type of business, any type of thing you're in, you always have to adjust. You need to change your identity a bit. Actually, I was talking to one of my coworkers about business plan and everything. And I was like, writing a business plan is good, especially for the start. But, a business plan is a plan in general, especially the longer it goes on for, right? It's always changing and always evolving. It's always changing, and there could be a wrench that just messes up everything. So with the media right now, I feel as if the media in the NBA is becoming very stale, and it's becoming stale to the point where, Shannon Sharp was kind of maybe because Shannon Sharp is entertaining. So Shannon Sharp was bringing a different thing, bringing some more flair and entertainment to it, kind of changing things up. But now with him gone, guess what? Now ESPN, now the NBA, when what they're producing for basically content, now it's stale again. Like they got Pat McAfee, which Pat McAfee for football has been great addition because he's entertainment. They need to bring more of that. If I'm going to be honest, I don't know what's taking the NBA like so long. I think they need to do this like immediately. If they want to save their brand, they want to save their media, their entertainment media. Honestly, what they need to do is start trying to hire these podcasters. They need to start trying to hire these guys on YouTube. They need to hire them because they're doing more views than you guys. And maybe they have tried to hire some people. Maybe they have. And they said, no, I get that. But they need to change their identity and then look to really integrate a lot of these content creators because it's really the content creators in everything. They are taking over. Music, sport, like you got DJ Academics, you got Kai, you got Duke, you got DDG, and then with the sports side of things, you got Girls Arena, Players Choice, Pick a Side. Bro, they're running everything. Let's Keep It a Buck. What was that? What's that other one? I think that guy Kenny's in it. Man, I forget the name of him. I forgot that name, but the deep three, right? Like they need to start integrating those guys more into their media circles. They should be in it, if I'm going to be honest, because they already have an audience that they themselves has created. So the NBA should look to integrate them into that to keep their media alive. And they need to change their media because what they have been doing for the last 30 years is not working anymore. So you need to adjust. And they haven't been adjusting at all. What was it? Stephen A saying Paul George better than Ball will get more clicks and views than logical takes. Yeah. Yeah, stuff like that without a doubt. I don't know if you said that. If you said that, that's wild. But that's what I think the NBA should do. You know, because content creators are just, man, I'm not gonna lie, like they're becoming the new like superstars, bro. Like it's not your, well, of course you have your athletes, right? Your athletes are always gonna have the most superstardom, but then after the athletes, man, you got, you know, now you have your rappers, your actors, your entertainers, and everything. And I'm not gonna hold you, dog. Like these content creators are like, dog, it's insane what they're doing. So they really need to integrate sports media content creators into their identity and into their brand so that they can be sustainable. Like bring somebody on First Take and let him cook Stephen A. Smith. I'm serious. Bring someone on First Take, a very good panelist, a very good sports internet guy. Let him cook Stephen A. Smith. Let him cook him. Watch how many views they get. Man, JJ Redick got a coaching job because he cooked Stephen A. Smith, dog. And look how many views they was getting. Let them cook. I feel as if they protect their hierarchy. They protect them a lot where they don't want them in those positions, especially the people they favor. But nah, dog, you got to switch that up. You got to switch because the media, the NBA media is dying, is being taken over by the YouTube podcasters, by the athletes, by the players coming up with podcasters, by the content creators. And the worst thing is the NBA has no control over that. They can say and do whatever they want, which is great. I think it's very independent. And all the content creators out there doing this, keep doing it, you know? But that's the way the NBA needs to try to fix the media today, because what it has turned to, the shifting of it, you know, to keep the same, bro, you know what's going to happen every year. Whoever wins, they're going to talk about where he's going to rank all the time. They're going to talk about, are they going to win back-to-back? They're going to talk about how will this affect his legacy? Will he catch LeBron? Will he catch MJ? Hey, bro, like he did it every year. Doing it with Shea. Dang, I got a cut on my head. Doing it with Shea right now. You know? That joint gets old after a while. I'm tired of it. I don't want to hear it. I think a lot of NBA fans are tired of it. And there is nothing that a lot of people like more than seeing the people they don't like get cooked. And that's where Stephen A. getting cooked, dog. That's good TV. That's why he ain't like Max Kellerman. That's exactly why he ain't like Max Kellerman, man. Because you can say whatever you want about Max's takes. I'm not gonna lie. Like when after Skip left, I was watching First Take like faithfully after Skip left with Max Kellerman. Yo, when I say Max was cooking him every single day of the week, bro, I'm like, dang. Like Stephen A., like, that's why Stephen A. didn't like him. That's why he wanted him gone. He just didn't like him. Oh, you know, smartest guy in the room mentality. Nah, because you was getting cooked, dog. You was getting destroyed. He was telling you, yeah, the 2018 Rockets definitely can very well beat the Golden State Warriors. They have the best offense statistically, historically. They can do this. And guess what? They were about to do that. Like, I remember that whole slide that he was giving. He did a whole presentation that, and he was right. And he was like, and Stephen and Max was like, this is the thing. They actually play defense. They actually play defense with this great offense. they can definitely beat them. They have the best offense of all time. Stephen A. Blasphemy, blasphemy, blasphemy. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. Guess what? They almost lost to them in 7. They lucky CP3 got hurt. Like, Max was cooking him, dog. Max was cooking him. Destroying him. So it's like, so they protect him. And then they shipped him out. They shipped him out. They shipped like crazy, bro. They shipped him out. You know? And that ain't right. And then now Stephen A. goes, and just the NBA media circle, it's not even just him, like Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley be nasty with it. I seen Charles Barkley say, you know, he talked about the CBA. They were talking about the CBA where, oh my goodness, Ernie was talking about him like, was it Ernie or somebody else? And they were talking about the CBA and how it's ruining the league, and it was a bad decision. Charles Barkley was like, well, they have to make a dumb decision because they want to keep switching teams all the time. Like, bro, what are you talking about? Just because guys are switching teams doesn't mean it's okay for you to make a dumb decision. Like, you just said out your mouth it was a dumb decision, you know? So just because players were switching teams like a lot, that does not mean that your solution is now a dumb solution to handicap that. And for everyone over here like complaining about super teams and complaining about how guys are jumping back and forth from teams, do y'all really like, when we look at when that was popular, do we really like understand how many teams was actually winning? Like, how many teams actually won because of that jumping shift creating super teams? You got Braun, where he did it 3 times. Braun is the main one. So 3 different teams, LeBron James. That's 3. Golden State won one with and without KD. They won one with and without KD. Right? So they won 2. Say they won 2 with KD. Right? So now this is 4 teams. 4 different teams. And Golden State, only half of their rings came from that. If we look at everyone else who's been winning, outside of that, everyone else who's been winning, this started in 2011 when LeBron went to Miami? Dog, you had the Dallas Mavericks, they won. Guess what? That wasn't a super team. You had the 2014 Spurs who won. That wasn't a super team. 2015 Golden State Warriors wasn't a super team. You had the KD Warriors, they won. 2019 Rockets, they weren't a super team. 2020 Lakers, LeBron, that's a team. He manufactured that. 2021, Giannis. 2022, who was 22? Celtics? 2022, Celtics. Dang, who's 2022? No, 2022. Yo, am I tweaking? No, 2022 was the Warriors. I'm tripping. 2022 was the Warriors. 2023 was the Nuggets. 2024 was the Celtics. The Celtics was in the finals that year against the Warriors. That's what it was. So, like, within the last, so if we look at the history of this super team era, dog, out of the last, since 2011, now this is 14 years now. 14 years. You telling me out of 14 years, there's only been, the super teams only won it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times? Is that really necessary to make a change for the CBA to handicap players from going with each other? Are we serious? Like, it's not destroying the league. It's not destroying the league where a super team is winning it every year. It's not, because it didn't happen. You know, like, it just didn't happen. The super team lost in the very first year in 2011. So what are we talking about? Why are we making a rule? And hey, Shay, I like what you said here, right? If you want to say, yeah, it peaked in 2012, 2018, Dub, cool. I can get with that, right? But guess what? They just put this rule in place last year. And so if that peaked, if that was the peak of the super team era in 2018, Why are we making a rule like that 5 years after? 5 years after the super team era is done. Why are you making rules to stop that when it's not even prevalent in the league or destroying the league right now? The Nets tried, they failed. It didn't work. The Lakers even tried. They won one in 2020. Then they got Russ, LeBron, AD. Guess what? That failed. A lot of people thought that was going to be a super team. It failed. So, like, what are we doing? Why are you making a dumb behind rule for the CBA to handicap super teams? That makes no sense. No sense. So when Charles Barkley is over here complaining about it and saying it's justified because players want to sit here and jump from team to team, that's where I'm like, dog, you in the media a bit. Like, at least put some facts into this. At least put some statistics into this. At least provide some type of argument for your case, you know, to support that claim. And that it's a weak claim. I'll be honest. People say, oh, yeah, it's a weak move going from super team. It's a weak claim to say that super teams ruined the NBA. Because if we're going to be honest, the super team era, some of the most viewership happened when they were in their era. LeBron, Golden State Warriors versus LeBron. That's when that's for the last, 15 years, that was the most viewed era. So it definitely proved to be great for the league. What you want me to do? That's just what the facts are. That's just what the facts are. So how did they even ruin the league? So, like, that's where, like, the media, they just be so much against the players, man, for whatever reason. For whatever reason, man. For whatever reason. And it's like, that's one thing where, and listen, even, I don't know about Mars. Low, I'm pretty familiar. Low gets nasty when it comes to players. I'll be honest. Maybe he's changed a bit and everything, you know, but he gets very condescending. But this is what I don't want. I don't want, okay, one version of media to die for disrespecting players, just a different type of version media to arise, but doing the same thing and disrespecting players. They're just not disrespecting them in the rings and the wins and losses. They're disrespecting them with, oh, yeah, you know, you don't play well in the playoffs, you know. Oh, you can't pass the rock. Oh, you know, you turn over the ball a lot. You're not that good, you know. That's kind of crazy too. So, like, you're still crapping on players just in a different way. The whole crapping on players things, it just got to stop, if I'm going to be honest. Crapping on players needs to stop. Now, that's always a thing, but there's not as much of a celebration of players anymore as it was in the 80s and 90s. They celebrated a bunch of players, even in the 2000s. They always they celebrated all-stars, all-NBAers, you know, you being an all-star MVP. They celebrated all of that. They celebrated all of that. We don't even celebrate guys making the All-NBA team anymore, which is more important than an all-star. We don't even celebrate that. And that's everyone as a whole. No one celebrates that. Bro, celebrate it all. That's what's really ruining the NBA media and NBA circle and NBA viewership. You don't praise no one for anything anymore. Everyone don't. Everyone doesn't praise anything for anyone. That's from all sides. No one does. No one does. They don't do none of that. Because then what? You're glazing. Let me not make that joke. I almost did some wild stuff. I'm not gonna lie. But you're glazing. You know? No one wants to glaze anymore. I'm not gonna lie. I'm going to glaze my favorite players, and I'm going to happily glaze them, bro. Without a doubt. I'm a glazed Dame. I love Dame. I used to love Jimmy Butler. He hurt my heart. I was glazing Jimmy. I'm a Kyrie fan. I'm a glazed Kyrie to the max. It's okay to glaze because that makes everything more exciting. Enjoy it. It's entertainment. It's a sport. Have fun with it. Shay, thank you. I glaze CP3, KD, and Kobe, dog. I love their games. And it's fine to admit it. Enjoy it. That's what's destroying the league. No one wants it's bad to glaze, man. Screw that. It's great to glaze. You ever had a glazed donut? I love it. I love the type of donuts where it's like a figure eight. Those are my favorites. Glazed, honey glazed. I love it. Enjoy it. I watch football right now. I'm a football fan. I'm an Eagles fan. I'm a Saquon Barkley fan. Guess what? I glaze Saquon. Love Saquon, bro. Even though I'm an Eagles fan, when Odell Beckham was hooping on the Giants, I was glazing him because that dude was raw. And he was on my fantasy team. So we were in it together. We were really in the trenches together. You feel me? Come on, man. I love it. Let me glaze. Let me glaze got to be a new saying, man. And that's really what's missing in these circles. It's sad. It's really sad to me when I sit here and I go to NBA games. I even go to NFL games. But specifically NBA games. I go to NBA games, right? And I see much more excitement within the regular casual fan base going out there and paying their dollars. They're having far more excitement who don't even watch it as much as everyone on the internet, but they have far more excitement about that game, and they have way more fun with the game than people who watch it every day. That's sad to me. There is no reason in my mind that you gonna sit here and tell me you watch the game every day, you talk about the game every day, you talk about players every day, you do streams every day, you do whatever every day about the NBA, about basketball, but then there's sit here fans over here to your right where you're in an NBA game enjoying the game far more than you. Who really loves the game? Who really loves the game more? You or them? Because they're their feelings, they're way more, they're way more emphatic with their cheers. They're way more energized with them being there more than you. I honestly think that's sad. I think that's completely sad. Honestly, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of this does remind me of. It's like some Christians where, you go to church every day and everything. You go to church every day. You sit here and do everything you're supposed to do, but your heart's not in it. That's the main thing when it comes to, Jesus, right? He wants your heart. It's always your heart thing. That's like the number one commandment. Love the God with all your heart. That's the number one, right? If you're just doing all these things, your heart's not in it. You're missing the point. So when you over here talking about basketball, debating about basketball, watching basketball, but your heart's not in it, bro, there's someone else not doing half of what you're doing, but their heart is fully in it. There's more power in that. Jesus, that's why the man next to him to his right who died, he didn't live a great life, but he looked at Jesus on the cross and was like, bro, you the Son of God. And his heart was fully immersed in it. And so he went up. It's all about that. There's so much more power in that, dog. We over here have guys talking about basketball, but they're more in love with being right. They're more in love with lifting themselves up rather than just lifting the brand up, lifting what they're talking about up. Majority of people in the space are just all about lifting themselves up, if I'm going to be honest. I'll be honest. And that's a sad thing. It's sad. It's sad. And that's all of it. All of this is just, all of it is destroying the media and the brand itself, what we have today. It's just sad. It's just sad. I don't like the state of where it's at. Where any of it. We're talking about in any audience of the NBA, I just don't like where majority of I actually like the casual audience far more than everyone else, far more than the media-driven audience, and far more than the analytical audience, far more than the Twitter audience, the TikTok audience, far more than any audience. I love the casual audience far more than everyone else. You want to know why? Because they're the ones actually making the sacrifices of, you know what, I'm gonna spend this money to go watch these games. You know what, I'm gonna take my way. I'm gonna fix my schedule around so I can sit here and watch these games. I'm gonna pay to watch these games being played. You know, instead of complaining about it. Like they're far more into it with their heart than everyone else. I think there's more power in that than what everyone else is doing. Everyone else is busy arguing and debating with each other, and it's just stupid. And this is not a shot. Listen, this is not a shot to anybody. This is not a shot to anybody. I'm saying this is in general. I don't want people over here being like, oh, he's talking about, you know, PC and everything. No, it's just these are just all the circles, like in TikTok, Twitter, all of the circles. All of the circles is just wild. I actually think Players' Choice does a very good job of trying to balance everything out. You know, so I wouldn't disrespect them. Like guys like Gil's Arena is dope because they have fun with it and their heart's in it, and you can tell. Jeff T, like they're funny with it, and you can tell like they enjoy it. It's dope for them, you know. Like that's dope to me. I like that. I like seeing that. Even PC, they have a great time with each other. They enjoy talking with each other, busting, you know, getting on each other and everything. I like that. I like seeing that. Like more shows like that. Those are what's gonna help, you know, switch things around. Honestly, actually, like King Shay, like Nick Wright, I'll give credit. Nick Wright. I'll say this about Nick Wright. I will never say he does not love what he does. And I will never say he does not love the sports he talks about. He tries his best to respect the players as much as possible. Now, he glazes other people, which kind of, you know, other people don't like LeBron and Patrick Mahomes, right? But you can tell he's a fan of the sport. He enjoys the sport. He enjoys what he's talking about. That's actually one of the one media members where I look at where even if I don't agree with everything you say, I can tell like you are very passionate about all of this and you enjoy it. It's not just about you lifting yourself up. Like he really enjoys. He really enjoys lifting other players up, like Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, you know, LeBron. He really enjoys that. You want to say he's on people's payroll? I mean, he's fooling me. He's fooling me. I think he really enjoys what he's talking about. And I always respect people at a high degree who do that. You know, I really do. I really do respect that. So we need more stuff like that. We need more people that generally just love being a fan of the game. When has it become wrong? When has it become wrong being a fan of the game? Honestly. What is wrong being a fan of your club? You know, your favorite player, your team. Man, we gotta switch this around, man. Let's enjoy it. Let's enjoy the sport, enjoy the brand, and let's have fun with it, dog. If someone wants to say Shay's the best, guess what? I'll bring him up there. Let's talk about if Shay's the best or not, and we'll get on him and he'll get on us. Screw it. I love that. That's fun. That's fun. I love it. It's great. But let's not sit here and be like, you know, you're just I don't want to curse, but you're just a dumb A. You know, you're just a MFer. You know, just because he feels that way. That's just kind of crazy for me. When it gets to that point, it's kind of like you're not even enjoying it anymore. You know, I just don't like that. But listen, that's all. I'll answer this question before I go. Dub, you got Shea as the best, or Jokic, Giannis, or Luka? I don't think Shea is better than those three. You know, I think Shea's like right under them. I'm not. Honestly, it's so interchangeable between Jokic, Giannis, and Luka that I have no clue. I really have no clue. I think this season will help me get a bigger picture. But if I had to pick one person, I mean, I guess we can go with Giannis. But like I said, like if Luka's gonna play like how I think he's about to play, I'm gonna say Luka. I'm not gonna hold you. Like if Luka is gonna play how like I've been believing he's about to play, I'm gonna say Luka every single day of the week. But for right now, I guess we'll go with Giannis. You feel me? That's all I got. That's all I got. Don't kill me. Don't kill the messenger. I'm just talking, you know? But shout out to you guys, man. Like the video, subscribe. Remember to support the channel, man. And yeah, man, I lost track of the time, man. I just started going in. So salute to you guys, man. Peace out. Let me find this. There we go.
This pain inside.